It's episode 19 of the Weekly Take podcast. What's up, guys? Wow, dude, we're at the point now where these episodes are almost older than me. I mean, not like not like the channel wise, but like we're at the number of episodes that it's almost older than me. I'm 21 and we're at 19 right now. That's just that's pretty impressive, thinking that this thing has snowballed into what it is today. We've had different mics on here, we've had different people on here. We've had a different studio, a whole bunch of different things. Like we've changed up the format a couple times. We've changed up the days we post the things, how much we post here at Weekly Take. So big news. Joe Flacco is going to be traded to the Denver Broncos on March 13th. That's when the trade will finally go through and he will be able to put on like all the jerseys and stuff. All the jerseys, he'll be able to endorse all the Sports Authority Arena. He'll be a Bronco then. But right now the trade has gone through for a 4th-round pick. I'm a big Joe Flacco fan. I've been a Baltimore Raven fan since about 2008, I believe, after my cousin beat me in Madden with them. Yeah, that's where it all stemmed. There's no big heartfelt story about it. It was just I legit was ran in Madden by my cousin Darian, who was Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, and I was like, those guys I want to be like. And Ed Reed was a big inspiration of mine. He's one of the reasons why I started to like football and to admire it. Also, the color purple on the jerseys was just badass looking to me. My grandpa had a Ravens crew neck he used to wear a couple times throughout the year. I don't know how he got it. I should ask him. But no, besides the point, Flacco for a 4th-round pick. John Elway really likes these tall quarterbacks. I don't know what his dilemma is. He's gotten Brock Osweiler, Peyton Manning, Joe Flacco. I don't think Case Keenum's that tall, though. Case Keenum, here's the thing about Case Keenum. I think Flacco is a tremendous upgrade than Case Keenum. A lot of people think it's like a C to a C+. I think it's a C+ to at least a B. Or no, it's a C to a B. It's a whole letter grade improvement. This guy has proved himself in the postseason. Yes, he's proved that he sometimes cannot be the most elite quarterback, but, he has some shine. And if you give him that shine and give him some good players, he hasn't had a receiver like Emmanuel Sanders before. Philip Lindsay's going to help that. If they don't get Kyler Murray and Joe Flacco ends up playing a significant amount of time throughout the season, I think it could be a good move for them. I do like this move a lot. 4th-round pick is about reasonable. I didn't think they would get much more because they knew Flacco didn't want to be there. The Ravens kind of didn't keep that under the table like they should have for the trade value. But everyone knew it was Lamar's team after they didn't pull him in the playoffs against the Chargers. So they knew, this is his team, so they're obviously going to try to get rid of Flack. We got to make sure we don't give an arm and a leg for the guy. And they very well was a good trade on both ends, I think. Denver is going to look all right next year. I hope to see Flacco does a great thing, but that is the biggest breaking news in the NFL right now. As soon as I thought the NFL was really kind of dying down because of the Super Bowl, and then I was like, all right, well, nothing's going to happen until like the draft. This happens and makes it way more interesting. Today has been more interesting in football than the Super Bowl was to me. Also, we got 2 more big AFC North headlines. We got Antonio Brown wanting out of Pittsburgh. Okay. There is something going on in Pittsburgh that I feel like there's more to be said. I know this is like a total like scraping the barrel type thing to say, but AB wanting to leave, Le'Veon Bell wanting to leave, I feel like there's something up. Maybe Big Ben's doing something. Maybe Big Ben's talking to their girlfriends low-key and he's like getting people pissed off or something. Maybe, I don't know what's going on over there in Pittsburgh. It just seems like maybe a toxic environment. I have no idea. I'm not in the locker room. But from the outside, it doesn't look like it's a fun place to be. And, an AB, a 6-time 1,000-yard receiver, isn't, they're not that, they don't come around a lot, let's say. And for him to want out and they're, Le'Veon Bell, top 3 running back, when he was playing, it looks like they had the pieces to be the team, the AFC team. They just could never do it. They could never beat New England, which I don't blame them for. But with that roster, you should be like, damn, dude, we got Jesse James. Even if those guys if AB don't get open, we got Juju. We got James Conner. Big Ben wasn't really the problem. I mean, it wasn't really his doing that they were bad. It wasn't their defense. Their defense was pretty good. It's just they just didn't look like a whole team like they did when they had Troy Polamalu, James Harrison in his prime. They had Hines Ward. They were a good team when they were in their prime. And I'm not saying they're not a good team, but they're not who they were anymore for damn sure. So I think AB could definitely go to a lot of teams need that kind of receiver. What if Green Bay snags up AB? Devontae Adams and AB, Aaron Rodgers? That's the big three right there. That would be a show to watch. I think AB and Lambeau would be pretty cool to see. But very well, I don't think he's going to go to Green Bay. I think he's going to San Francisco. San Francisco has played their cards they played them right. Jimmy G got hurt, McKinnon got hurt, and their backup got hurt. And now they're looking at it like, fuck it, let's just wait till next year. We'll get AB, now that they're probably thinking about it. They got Kyle Juszczyk, former Raven, in the fullback position, giving more room for McKinnon possibly. They got a lot going on in San Francisco, and they got a good young defense behind them. So watch out if AB goes to the 49ers. The NFC West will slowly start to get more competitive. Seattle being, yes, very competitive. LA being in the Super Bowl this year. Cardinals with Josh Rosen and their new offense, and they have a second-round pick, I believe, or the first pick. Not second-round pick. Everyone has a second-round pick, I think, except for, obviously teams who traded. But, no, I think the Cardinals have the first pick this year. Yeah, I think they're going to go for Bosa. At that point, I think you pick the most talented player on the board if you have already established your needs. I just think they wouldn't pick a quarterback after they just picked Rosen first. So some people have been saying Cardinals, aren't going to stick with Rosen, which is kind of weird. The thing is with the quarterbacks, like I talked about this with Thomas a couple episodes ago, that there's a lot more teams in the NFL now that are not afraid to put their rookie quarterback into the fire. I mean, there's so many quarterbacks that have come straight in, and they're the guy. Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck, Mitch Trubisky, Patrick Mahomes. You got all these quarterbacks who are Johnny Manziel. You got these quarterbacks that are coming in. Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen. You got a lot of guys who are coming in, and they're building their offense around them and making them thrive. Because if you make your quarterback thrive, you're going to be a good team. And obviously, it goes to show when you have a good quarterback, you can, catapult yourself pretty higher. Because Chicago wasn't doing that great until Trubisky got there and Khalil Mack got there. I'm not saying Khalil Mack's a quarterback, but, with the him addition, that was great. Andrew Luck comes back, the culture in the playoffs. So it's crazy. You got a good quarterback, you're going to be all right. Another AFC North news. I know it just feels like there's a lot of AFC North news right now, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the AFC North right now. The Browns land Kareem Hunt. This is very controversial for all the domestic violence stuff that he's gone through, and I think everyone deserves a second chance to some degree. And the Browns said, "Hey, we believe that you deserve it," and damn, that team's going to be good. Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, Johnny Manziel. Wow, Baker Mayfield. I think I might have said Manziel way back a couple minutes ago too. Baker Mayfield, not Johnny Manziel. I apologize. But no, it's insane to look at that team. And then they got David Njoku on the tight end side. That's going to be a good team to mess with. The AFC North is going to, obviously Pittsburgh's on the down end, Cincinnati's on the down end. Baltimore, I believe, is on the uprise, even without my bias of being a Ravens fan. I think that defense is going to catapult them. Lamar is going to do great things. But Pittsburgh's they're not out of it. They still have Juju Smith-Schuster, and he's going to make big plays as just him alone, So, but back to the Kareem Hunt thing. I think that was a solid pickup for them. The Browns needed a solid running back. They have Nick Chubb, and, if they could cycle those two in, maybe Kareem Hunt doesn't work out, Nick Chubb works out, and then it works out, or vice versa. The Browns are going to be in pretty good position next year. So, don't be sleeping on the Browns next year. And I know we always say that, but it's legit this year. I truly think they're going to snag a couple big in-divisional games this year, like they did against Baltimore this year. I think they snagged one against Pittsburgh as well. Demaryius Thomas was then cut from the Houston Texans today, which is a damn shame. because I was really looking forward to the Deshaun Watson, Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins, Demaryius Thomas, Lamar Miller show, the five-man show. But injuries got in the way. He's getting older. He's not going to get any younger. And I see it's a business, and you got to do all these type of things and all that. But come on, man. Demaryius Thomas was at his prime when he had Peyton Manning. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is not Peyton Manning yet. Maybe I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan, so it could happen. But Peyton Manning did make a lot of those receivers. He made Wes Welker. He made Demaryius Thomas. Julius Thomas was there. Eric Decker was there. Denver had, he made those receivers look pretty good. And when he left, Demaryius Thomas kind of went on downhill. And not to his credit, not saying he was the reason. It's just like, Peyton Manning put the ball in some spots that, let's say, Case Keenum, Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, and there's one more I'm totally forgetting of Denver. But yeah, they're definitely missing some, that those guys are not Peyton Manning. And that's just what it just happens when you play with a great quarterback like that. It's not to his offense. It's just, like I just said, it's Peyton Manning is a great quarterback. Kyler Murray decides to stay with football. Yes, great decision. I know longevity, that's not the right decision, but if you have a passion for something, fucking do it. This guy has a passion for football. He's been practicing every day in practice at Oklahoma, at the University of Oklahoma, and he said, you know what, I've been practicing every day, and my goal was to, win a championship, but then I went and won the second best thing as an individual player could do, and that's the Heisman. After you win the Heisman, you obviously know you're the best of the college class that year. Like, your talent is something, and a lot of people are going to be like, well, he's too short. You know who else was too short? Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. Look where those guys are. Those guys aren't. Those guys are not known names in the NFL. Kyler Murray is fine. Baker Mayfield is also on the shorter end. He's doing fine as well. Kyler Murray, I think, made a great decision to stay with football. I hope injuries do not get in the way. Obviously, I don't hope that on anyone. That's too bad. Injuries fucking blow. It really kills a lot of great players, a lot of great things. But, the thing is with baseball, I'm not a big baseball guy, but I know you got to work your way up through leagues. And, that, yes, you get guaranteed money. But, hey, there's no guarantee, the A's give you that shot. You're going to have to go through this league, and I think one more league. But no, he's going to get the instant gratification for whoever drafts him. In this nowadays NFL, they're going to base the offense around him. He's going to get a lot of fame. And I would like to see him go to New York, but I do not think New York is going to be able to grab him. I think someone might snag him before then. New York Giants. That'd be pretty cool. Kyler Murray, Odell, Saquon, Sterling, Ingram. That'd be pretty cool to see, actually. So I hope that happens, but that's kind of a really big reach at this point. The NFL made some pretty fun things today. I was really excited with how the NFL went and how everything was just flowing after the Super Bowl, because I was really upset that, after the Super Bowl, it was going to be kind of dry until the draft. But this is like the type of stuff I like the most, because I'm able to say, like, oh, I really like that, and I like that. Because when I don't have games to, talk about, it gives me opinions to give you guys what I think and all that. Moving into the NBA, though. The NBA always has some stuff going on. Me and my cousins actually did a bet. I lost. I picked against my own fucking favorite team, the Spurs, and that bit me in the ass in the bettings. They won by 1 against Memphis, so, I wasn't too mad because the Spurs won, so I was happy, but I was just mad that I didn't pick them. I do that all the time. I pick against my team because I think I know them more, and I'm like, all right, I don't think they'll be able to win this one because I just know. And that was just the truth of that one. I just picked against my favorite team. I shouldn't have done it. So Enes Kanter, the former center for the New York Knicks. He was one of the stash bros in Oklahoma with Steven Adams and Russell Westbrook. He's a great center. He's kind of been in some trouble with Turkey, I believe. Like, he got in some trouble for saying some governmental stuff, and they want to take him to jail. That's one of the reasons I guess he doesn't play in most of the world tourneys. Enes Kanter. But he's on the Blazers. I think that's a good pickup. I don't know if he'll start over Nurkic, but he very well could. Wait a second. I think Nurkic got traded somewhere. I would look it up, but I don't want to like mess up the recording because I want to do this in one take. But no, if Enes Kanter is going to be a good fit regardless because with their two guards they have up front with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, he's only going to help down low. And I know the Blazers have always kind of really needed a 3, and that's what they should address next year. But that 5 spot or 4 spot is going to be a very good pickup for them, especially in a competitive-ass West where you got LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, James Harden, DeMar DeRozan, Mike Conley. You got a lot of great players. You got DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis. There's a lot of big-name players on this side of the West Side. So you got to make your team pretty well. And the Blazers are like, hey, if people are going to be adding teams, we gotta be adding guys too, not teams. IT returns. Isaiah Thomas has been 11 months since the last time he played a game since his hip surgery. I'm a big fan. I mean, no, I'm not really a big fan of IT. I get he's a dog, like a University of Washington alum, but he's just kind of an ass, I feel like. But I don't know the guy. He could be a very cool guy. That's just the vibe I get. But I was really excited to see him when he went to Cleveland. Like, I really wanted him and LeBron to work out, but LeBron just didn't like the defensive aspect of having a liability on the court. And it goes to show, LeBron is out here playing chess, and he's low-key kind of a commissioner, weirdly. Like, he's that good of a player where he's like, I want this guy or I'm leaving. And he only had that power in Cleveland because he was on the 1-year contract every year. And they're like, all right, well, we will, we'll do it. We'll do whatever you want, LeBron, so you'll stay and win us one for Cleveland. And now he's with LA for 4 years, so they could be like, hey, man, you signed for 4 years. We don't got to do shit. You could demand a trade, but we technically don't have to trade you. So it's just the Lakers front office has that edge on them that Cleveland never had. And I think that's where it comes into the play why everyone's like, well, why didn't LeBron push for Anthony Davis? He doesn't have that leverage like he did in Cleveland. I'm pretty sure if he was in Cleveland, I want Anthony Davis, trade everyone. It probably would have happened if they would have said, well, can you get us a championship? And he says, are you kidding me? Me and Anthony Davis? It could have happened. So that's my spiel on that. A lot of people like to forget that Lakers have more leverage on LeBron than they think. I hope he has a good return on Denver, because then it would be cool to see him be great again, because it was cool to see him as an all-star in Boston. I wanted him to work out, but sometimes he feels like a little douchey. He feels like a little cocky, but hey, that's his game. I can't hate on that. Walton's job in LA, he should not be worrying about how his seat, that is the hottest seat in sports. If you're LeBron's coach, if you're not winning 50 games and you're LeBron's coach, you're the problem. If you're losing games, you're the problem. It's always on the coach. I get that, but it's even more intensified when LeBron's on your team, because you got all LeBron's blind witnesses coming in. Well, it wasn't his fault. It was his. Like in Cleveland, LeBron could do no wrong, and obviously he didn't really do wrong most of the time. But like if he would mess up, the instant blame would go to Kevin Love. Kevin Love, the guy who changed this entire game, left his team, and became who LeBron basically wanted him to be. And yeah, they won a championship together, and they went to a lot of finals, so he's probably not complaining. But this guy would get ridiculed by all the fans, like, you're the reason you had only 8 rebounds and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you can't always blame it on everyone else but LeBron. And Ty Lue, a lot of people were hating on his coaching abilities because he had LeBron, but like he was able to coach him to finals appearances. Walton's not able to do that, so it's showing you that, yes, Ty Lue had a little bit more leverage with Kyrie, Kevin Love, Amon Shumpert when he was doing good. Richard Jefferson was playing great off the bench. They had Korver coming in and hitting some clutch threes. J.R. Smith was doing great. But Walton doesn't have those. Walton has Ingram, Kuzma, and Hart. Ball, the other Ingram from the G League, I don't know if he's gotten much playing time. They got JaVale McGee. He does not have that support cast, so yeah, his job should be safe. He's one of those guys that he should not be getting the blame, and I totally agree that he should not be on the hot seat. Another thing, will the Lakers make playoffs? If the playoffs ended today, I looked at the seedings, they'd be 10th. They would not make playoffs right now. The 8th seed would be the Sacramento Kings. We live in a world where the Sacramento Kings are better than LeBron, essentially. They're not better than LeBron, but, their team is, doing better. So that's just shocking to see because, I always look at the Kings as like, damn, man, these guys haven't been good since even Bibby was there. That was a long-ass time ago. I think the Lakers are going to make a push towards the end of the year because you give LeBron any of those seedings, it's going to be hard to beat him 4 times, especially in LA. But I hope they don't miss playoffs because it'd be like pretty devastating not to see LeBron in the not finals, but in the playoffs at least. I do not think the Lakers are going to the finals, and I very well could be wrong by that because LeBron can flip a switch and he could just lead them to the promised lands. But I don't really see it happening. The Warriors slowly are taking the 1 seed. Like, they weren't the number 1 seed because Denver was for a little bit, and then they just slowly just won like 10 out of their like last 15 when DeMarcus Cousins came back, and then everyone kind of nodded their heads and said, well, that they have a death lineup. They have KD, DeMarcus Cousins, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andrew Iguodala, Sean Livingston. They got Jordan Bell. They got a great team. And things are going to happen when you have a great team like that, when you are able to cycle. You don't have to play all 5 of those guys at the same time. You could just put Steph and maybe KD on the same court and then put Klay, Draymond, and Iggy and DeMarcus Cousins on the court. Steve Kerr has so much mobility with this lineup that it's insane. Like, he could be like, oh, we need to play big tonight? All right, we'll play big. Oh, we need to play fast tonight? Then we'll play fast. It's cool to watch, to be honest with you. As a basketball fan, it's insane to see. Moving into another game, the last game of the segment, we have the Celtics beating the Philadelphia 76ers. This is going to be probably Eastern Conference Finals this year. I've been kind of hating on the Celtics lately because that roster is too great to be not great, if that makes sense. They have too good of a team to not be good. But they went and beat Philly after they just got Harris. They got Butler, Simmons, and Embiid. And Tatum spun against Joel Embiid and dunked on Simmons in a win. That's pretty commanding, That's pretty. He's only 20, may I add. And for the people who don't know, that's because Jason Tatum's a younger guy, and Boston Celtic fans always like to say he's really young. But, that's been it for episode 19 of the Weekly Take podcast, guys. Trying to get more content out for you guys all the time. We got NFL and NBA, March Madness. I'm going to start covering March Madness. I'm thinking about starting a betting spread segment too, talking about like the spreads and who I would take and why should you take this spread. I'm not really an expert on it, but I'd love to give you guys my opinions on who I would pick at least. And the NBA, I know it's a lot harder to get picks done, but I would really love to do that. So thank you guys so much for listening, and this has been Weekly Take. Have a good one.